I guess we'll have to call this a Mailbag Monday video. I knew these were on the way. It was another YouTube user. Donald contacted me and said he had some radios he just wanted to send me he didn't have any use for. And these are some heavy boxes. I'm not sure if they have the weight on here. Probably not because they're flat rate. I don't have the weight, but yeah, they're heavy. And they're heavy for a reason. I kind of know, I can't remember exactly what model of radios he said these were, but they're really heavy for a reason. It's because they're old commercial radios. And asked if I would be interested in having them, and I said, sure, I'm always always happy to take free radios. And the microphones will give away who makes them. Motorola. So yeah, you know they're built like a tank. Got two of them in this box. You can just hear moving these things around. Like a lead weight. There went my knife. This other one here. You know, a lot of people might ask, oh, well, what the hell does a business band radio for? Well, you know, even if you really don't have a practical use for the radio itself, they're always a good source of parts for starters. That's a Mostar. It looks like there's 3 max tracks and a Mostar, and 3 microphones. But I get these boxes out of the way. But there's all kinds of good parts that you can get out of a radio like this. And sometimes, and it's something I'm going to have to check, because it's been so long since I had either of these model radios. I don't think I've ever had a Mostar, as a matter of fact. I think that's my first one of those, ever even seeing one. And I'm assuming it uses a separate... I don't know, it's still awfully damn heavy. I don't know if that had a separate PA unit or final unit on it. See a coax cable shoved down in there. Like I say, I don't know if this had a separate PA final unit or not. Man, that thing's got a lot of weight if there's no final unit in it. But it's Motorola. There absolutely nothing is built as heavy as a Motorola radio. I mean, their business band radios are, Christ, you could kill a rhinoceros with one of these things from 50 yards. But in any case, sometimes, now like I said, I'm going to actually have to check on these. Like the max tracks here, and see, but sometimes you can reprogram these radios to work on amateur radio bands. Not always, but it's one of those things, it's worth checking. I think these are, I'm assuming, probably 800 megahertz range, because max track, I don't know, well, no. Like I say, I'm just going to have to do a little bit of research on these first and see. But like I say, a lot of times, because I've done some other Motorola's before. I had a friend had a bunch. He had company vehicles and he was getting rid of them, and I was able to convert those over. It was just a matter of reprogramming them. But I think those were used on 2 meter. I think those were able to be converted over for use on a 2 meter band. But I'm going to have to get these critters cracked open. So probably what I'll do is, just right now, I'll go ahead and crack one of the max tracks and this, really want to, like I say, I've had one of these open before. It's been a long time. But I don't think I've ever had a Mostar before. So we'll just get both of these cracked open just to see what exactly lies within. I don't think there's going to be a lot we could do with the Mostar, because it looks like on-off and a volume control, and that's probably the extent of control on that. The Max Track, yeah, it's got some extra buttons, so I don't know if there's, like I say, might be reprogrammable, but take a look on the inside and see what's inside one of these guys. Okay, so we got the covers off of the Mostar, and it is a trunked radio system, so I'm assuming it's probably an old either police or I don't think it would. Actually, it might have been just commercial band. There's only one channel, so yeah, that was probably for commercial use. But anyhow, it's a you can see it says right there, trunked radio. Yeah, frequency 865, 864, 321. Yeah, so on the 860 megahertz range. October 1987. And you can see there's on the board 1983. Special handling required, CMOS circuitry. Yeah, that kind of dates it. Don't see a lot of CMOS nowadays. And boy, man, it's just the physical weight of this. I mean, that's all solid metal, the entire structure. Man, they just, nobody else builds them like Motorola does. And same thing on this side. Caution CMOS circuitry, special handling required. Looks like a little bit of, no, that's not moisture. I thought moisture might have gotten in, but actually it just looked like there was a little bit of flux left over on there. Somebody might have changed the controls. The volume control knob's broken on this one. But looks like maybe somebody might have changed the volume control pot at some time, and you can see how nasty the flux, it's actually starting to oxidize everything around there, starting to get white and crumbly. But early surface mount design, really heavy circuit boards. So let's see if we can just get this thing split apart here and take a look at it. And you can see there it has a edge connector there, and then a double row header socket there, and there's the RCA jack. It has this huge, let's see, there's a big aluminum box down inside there. There's some interconnect header sockets right there. Let's get her cracked open a little bit farther and see what lies within, because you really can't see much like this. Oh man, the build quality. How often do you think you'd ever have to order a gasket for any other radio? Yeah, I mean, this thing's so well designed, they even have RF shield gaskets. So on the other side here, it had, I've got all these covers off. Had the gasket there. Man, these things are, they're sizable in thickness, man. The amount of aluminum that's in these things. Had the shield there. Well, like I say, just the attention to detail on these things, just phenomenal. You can see there's another edge connector there. Assuming that's for service, maybe possibly programming. And I do believe I was right in thinking this was probably like for police or emergency services. The reason I say that is I can see this board was used for other optional things, and your every average day Joe isn't going to need a PA, horn, and lights. So yeah, this was meant to be integrated with other external controllers, because if you notice, there's the speaker grill here in the front, but there's no speaker actually in the radio. So yeah, it's all integrated. But yeah, like I say, man, the build quality on this thing is just phenomenal. I mean, God, that aluminum shield alone has to weigh damn close to somewhere between an eighth and a quarter pound. I mean, there's just, they weren't farting around when they built these things. You can see it looks like there's probably a custom processor there for programming. I even tried to look that number up, and yeah, there's not much to be found on exactly what that is, because everything in here, of course, it's a Motorola radio, so of course all of the ICs in here are Motorola. Well, no, actually there's a Texas Instruments right there. There's one right there. You see the little Texas Instruments logo, but it looks like everything else in here is a Motorola chip, which, like I say, makes sense. I mean, it is a Motorola radio. Yeah. But man, the design just, and the quality of components, that's another thing. Nichicon caps, You can see all of the inductors, unlike in cheesy, cheap CB radios, where they just use a loop of wire, for a coil and just stick it on the board. Yeah, they have them all encased in plastic, just built like a tank. I mean, these things are made to take abuse day in, day out, and day in again. See all the pass-throughs, for interconnect across the boards there, these little guys. Man, just really, really nice. I work on the wrong kind of stuff. And I mean, I talk attention to detail. I mean, even so far as so you don't lose this circuit board. I don't know if you might be working on one of these maybe while you're parachuting or something, and you might drop the board. But I mean, they even have little plastic tie straps that go in between the boards just so it can't get lost. I mean, wow. Where else are you going to see stuff like that? I mean, that's just, yeah. Man, it'd be such a pleasure to work on stuff like this. Like I say, man, I'm in the wrong business. I work on the wrong kind of radios. This is just so well laid out, so well. Well, then again, you'd probably, you wouldn't do much work-wise because nothing would ever break. I mean, the way this thing's built and with the quality of components and whatnot, man, I really don't hardly ever see these things having any problems. They're really, really nice. Crystal, there's oscillator circuit down over here, and just more shielding cans. I mean, my God, you look at this pile of shields that I took off all this stuff down here. You got all of these shields are on top of, they had shield covers down on top of here, on top of these. There's more metal in shields here than there are in most CB radios. And this thing still weighs a lot. I mean, the structure, you see how thick the aluminum is, the housing and whatnot. Man, just, quality, quality, quality. Man, nobody builds a commercial radio quite like Motorola. I've seen some Johnsons, but I think this thing, this is old too, like I say, 80, you can see the dates on these, 83. It was probably put into service in 87. I'm assuming this sticker was probably installed when it was programmed and actually put into service, because that identified the frequencies that are programmed into it for whatever trunking network. Actually, I almost have to, look up some of those frequencies. I could probably. Now, this did come from the guy that sent these to me. Lives in the same state I do, Pennsylvania, so I'm assuming he probably got them maybe here in PA. I might be able to check those frequencies. And granted, they wouldn't be in service anymore, but I have a bunch of old scanner manuals. I could probably look those up and see if those are. They might have been from a local fleet, local to him fleet. But there you go. There's a look inside the, what was this? The MoCat? Or Mostar, not MoCat, that's CB. Yeah, this was the Mostar. But, yep, just phenomenal build quality. Man, that's... You want to build a name for yourself making indestructible electronics, man. This is the way to do it, because... Such a pleasure. In a board quality, the quality of these circuit boards. I could just look at them and see the really, really high quality circuit boards. They didn't cheap out on that either. You see there's a little bit of Kapton tape. I don't know if somebody was doing some rework around here maybe. Because there's a couple little pieces of Kapton tape stuck down here. So somebody might have had to replace like maybe this transistor or something around here. And he put some Kapton tape down to keep the heat off of there. And actually there's another little piece of Kapton tape stuck down right there. So I don't know, somebody might have been doing some service work to this thing at one time. Like I say, I get the feeling somebody has, because you see how clean these boards are. There's absolutely no flux residue. But yeah, the volume control, yeah, that's absolutely nasty. looks like there's a few soldered points on the back here. So yeah, I think this thing probably did have a little bit of work done to it at one time or another. But like I say, if you figure this thing was in a police car, you know, it was in use every day. Nice, nice, nice. I don't know what else to say other than wow. I mean, the quality of that thing's just phenomenal. Now, I think I'll do a separate video on the these MaxTrack radios, because I actually want to look these up. And these, I don't know, might, like I said, I don't have to check, but I don't know if these might be reprogrammable for something useful. But I'm almost kind of getting the feeling these might be 800 megahertz trunking radios too. But we'll have to see. Like I say, some of these radios, I know I've done some of the business band, but it looks like these weren't business band. At least this one wasn't business band. Like I say, you know, this had the option of having a switch for PA, horn, and light. So this obviously was for you know, emergency services application. I'm not sure about this MaxTrack 800. If this was for emergency services or if this was a business band. So I'll actually have to look this up. And if it was for business band, like I say, a lot of times business band radios can be repurposed as ham radios. You know, limited use, it's channelized, but, you know, a lot of times, as long as you can program in your repeater frequencies and whatnot, that's all you need. You only need a couple channels. So I'll have to do a little research on that one. So plan on a separate video for those. But there you go. There's the insides of the Motorola Mostar.